Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Gemini energy, and like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be high vibe Gemini energy. The bottom row is going to be a more worldly, shadowy energy. It could reflect how people could be struggling within themselves, because we do have our dualistic nature and we have free will of choice, and some people could be struggling within themselves about a choice. You know, high vibe energy would be that you want to maybe look at life different, take different action in your life, live your life a little differently. Something, and you could be some people could be struggling within themselves about it, but for other people, they've already gone through the debate within themselves, and some of those people are already moving forward in life differently. Throughout our life, we grow, we mature, we heal, we expand our perception of how we view ourselves and the world around us, and have more hope and faith and belief in ourselves, and we move forward in life differently than we were moving forward in life before. And then the bottom row can reference, you know, how we were living our life, how some people in our life are going to continue to live their life, because we all kind of move forward in life at different times in life. And sometimes when we're ready to move forward in life differently, there could be other people in our world, in our life, that aren't ready to move forward in that way at the same time that we are. So that's kind of how we're going to read it. So we all do tap into Gemini energy. It has to do with making this decision in our life. Are we more aligned with our hopeful, believing, loving nature, or are we more aligned with our worldly nature, our ego nature, our materialistic nature, you know? And everybody's got free will, so it's just to see the truth of it. Accept the truth of where people are at and what drives and motivates them. So, let's go look. The reason for the top row's reading is the World card. It's also the reason why the reading came out. And so that can mean, you know, we all lived life at a certain phase of life, just like we did, age 15, age 18, age 21, age 25. We all have different lessons to learn in life. You could know some people that are just still living a certain phase of life, viewing life a certain way, viewing relationships a certain way, viewing themselves a certain way, living their life a certain way. And they're still living in that phase of life. And in high vibe, the world means you learn the lessons you're meant to learn from that phase of life. And, you know, then we don't have an interest of repeating that past phase. Just like when we become 18 and we start living like an 18-year-old, we don't have an interest of going back to living like a 15-year-old. And so you're ready for the next phase of life. So the reason for the bottom row's reading is the woman holding heart. I view this picture kind of more like a man dressed up like a feminine figure. And the way I read tarot is that the masculine energies represent how we're presenting ourselves in the world and how we're taking action in the world, because we can all present ourselves in the world whatever way we want, but the feminine figures can reflect how we really think and feel. And we all have lessons to learn in life, and that's us being in our more egoic nature. And there's these ways of living life that we love, and at that time and phase of our life, that could have been the appropriate way to live life. That's where we're at in life. But then as time goes by, we could get more kind of balance within ourselves, is what this card can reference. That, you know, we kind of learn those lessons. We've kind of completed that phase of life where maybe who we present ourselves in the world is a true reflection of who we are. Where initially when we start a new phase of life, you know, we could be a little bit more in our fear and our insecurity because we're entering a new phase of life, like going to a new school, like an elementary school or junior high. You know, we're kind of maybe a little bit trying to maintain balance within ourselves, but we might be a little bit more in our ego or our fear. And then as we go through that phase of life, we become more balanced within ourselves. So I think you went through some people went through a process of life, and the last card here in the bottom row is the attachment card, like removing the mask. And then the balance card kind of before that. You went through a phase of life. you learned the lessons you were meant to learn, and you were kind of ready to shed that layer of yourself, that level of fear and insecurity and pride and ego and self-limiting beliefs that you had at that phase of life. Now you're more balanced within yourself and you're ready to go to that next phase of life. But some other people haven't completed that phase of life in some regard. Let's go look at the bottom row first. So we have the thinking man in reverse, which I view as the King of Swords. You know, we've all got lessons learned. There's some truth, some insight, some growing, some maturity that we don't have yet, which is what the thinking man, King of Swords in reverse can mean. So we're living a certain phase of life. We have lessons to learn. We're maybe single in the appreciation card. You know, we have these things that we think are the just and fair way to live life based on where we're at in life, and we move forward in that way of life. And, you know, we're trying to work those things out. And the thing is, sometimes we can kind of get in mismatched relationships where one person does have hope and faith and belief in love and in their dreams and kind of want to grow to their full potential, but we can get in a relationship with someone who is more aligned with their worldly egoic nature, and that was how they wanted to continue moving forward. And that's kind of when we realize, like, aren't you going to become like an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old one day? You know, as an analogy, because we do this throughout our life. And sometimes we get in relationships with people and they're like, no, I'm good. This, you know, I kind of got to this certain stage of life. Once we become an adult and we're out in the adult world, we have all the adults in the world to kind of blend in with. And we can pick our spot of where we want to kind of be in our life and how we want to live our life. There's going to be a lot of people that are on the same page as us. And some people, it's kind of like, you know, they could, since this is the more worldly, shadowy row, they could be people who love the world and they don't plan to ever look at life any differently, to look at life from a higher perspective. All I ever wanted was to get a job, be in a relationship, have a certain amount of money or status or image, and I'm good. This is how I always dreamed of living life. This is how I want to live life. This is what makes me feel balanced within myself. This is kind of how I've dreamed of living my life. You know, we kind of have these ideas, maybe kind of like the masks that we wear, of how we envision living life. And then we come in contact with all these different people in the world to help us get clear about what our truth is. And we can get in friendships, jobs, and relationships with people, and we can have love for them, but we could be more inspired to keep shedding layers of ourselves. We all go into a phase of life, and we have our fears and our insecurities and our self-limiting beliefs. And some people are like, yeah, I don't want to go to like the next level of life where there's more fears and more challenges. You know, you look at life like a video game and you go up to the different levels. When you're on one level, you have certain obstacles and challenges to overcome to get to the next level. And even though some people have mastered that one level, they have the free will choice to stay on that level and just keep repeating it. And that's what kind of shadowy energy can be, where people are repeating an old pattern because that's where they're comfortable, that's where they want to stay, they have free will choice. Other people say, you know what, I think I've kind of learned everything I needed to learn at this phase of life. I'm ready to shed a layer of my fear and my insecurity and my pride and ego to face what comes next. And yeah, when we move forward in life and we step out of our comfort zone, we are going to have new fears and insecurities bubble up. Just like going and getting a new job, getting a new friend, getting in a new relationship. You know, that's why people have a hard time leaving a job, a friendship, or relationship, because it means they have to face their fears to go to the next one, you know? But if we've been in a job, a friendship, or relationship where it seems like nobody's willing to kind of go to the next phase, you know? And if we are ready to go kind of be more curious about life, face some of our fears and insecurities, look at life differently. Sometimes other people don't want to move forward with us in that way. And we just need to see the truth of it. And some of those people, we could have thought that they viewed life the same way we did. And, for a long time, they did when we were viewing life kind of the same way they were. But then when it gets to be who is willing to maybe be more independent, more authentically themselves, face their fears and insecurities, that might be the stumbling block for them. And some attachment to a way of living life is something they don't want to detach from. And some people, it could be maybe they have an opportunity, say, for a different relationship. The other people that might want to be in a relationship with them could be loving people. In that case, it would be a good thing if the people they're in a relationship with are doing this work with them to move to that next phase of life together with them. Well, then why would, though, we go get in a relationship with someone else if we already have people in our life who are willing to work with us to go to that next phase of life? Because that's what we're looking for, right? People who are willing to do that work with us to go to that next phase of life. And some of you could have closed out one relationship, could have wanted to get in a new relationship, but the person you want to be in a relationship with is already in a relationship. And if that person is in a relationship with someone who they think is going to go that next phase of life with them, even though you might already be there, they might still want to put in work and effort to encourage the people they're in relationship with to, listen to their intuition and go to that through that door of value and truth and listening to their intuition with them. And, eventually, if some of the people in their life aren't willing to move forward with them in that way, then maybe some of those people will get out of those jobs, friendships, or relationships, and they'll come up here. In the meantime, other people maybe would have moved on already again. It's just the cycle of life. We're all at different places and different stages of life at any given time. We can only work with the people who are on the same page as us at the same time. So there's going to be some people that are working with people right now, maybe in the worldly, shadowy energy. It could be that people could be kind of feeling stuck a little bit, wondering if the people who are going to move forward with them are going to keep working with them cooperatively to detach from this old way of living life, to emotionally grow and mature themselves and go on to the next stage of life. And we have to respect that. But there's also other people that we might know in the world who don't want to see the truth with the King of Swords in reverse. High vibe energy is about dealing with the truth, getting out of our ego, getting out of our fear, getting out of some of our insecurity to free ourselves from the things that manipulate us. And some people don't even want to see the truth of things that manipulate them. And they're probably going to keep living their life like this because it might just be how they view life. The Storm Warning is like a Tower card. They're unwilling in their free will to get out of their ego, get out of their defensiveness, whatever it would be that would require them to see some truth in their foundation. Because the way they view life, they're sure that the way they're living their life, it can be more emotionally invested in their worldly nature instead of their more loving, intuitive, emotional nature. Might be money, might be materialism, might be themselves. They don't, if that's how they've chosen to live their life, and that's what drives and motivates them, they don't want to detach from living their life that way. If they have other people that they could get in relationship with, who want to live their life that way too. That's how they view life. That's how they're happy living life. That's probably how they're going to keep living life. They do not want to let that go. They are willing to let go of harnessing these energies in a high vibe way because they're not willing to let go of harnessing these energies in a more worldly, shadowy way. And I view the Queen of Pentacles as Taurus energy, which is our philosophy of life, how we view life. And Gemini energy is like, what is my truth? I have a dualistic nature. I have the knowledge of the tree of good and evil within me. I have the seeds of both planted within me. I have free will to make my life more about growing and maturing myself to my full potential, treating other people the way I like to be treated, believing in love, or I can make my life more about me, more about the world, work more with things of the world than listening to love and intuition to guide me. And that's how some people choose to live their life. And they have free will to do that. And when we can be in relationships with some people, initially we can get in relationships with people and we think we're on the same page. We're in the victory card, like Six of Wands, Leo energy. We kind of think we're all motivated and inspired by the same things, but we're maybe not. One person wants to shed layers of themselves throughout their life to keep growing to their full potential, and other people might be attached to their ego nature, their defensive nature, their worldly nature, and they don't want to stop living their life like that. And then we kind of see through the illusion, and we realize that how we want to live life and how they want to live life, what their truth is. You can look at the sixth chakra, which is about your intuition in Gemini energy. We could just see the truth that what some people want to stay in denial of the truth is what the Two of Swords talks about. And it's all about the ego or themselves or the world. That is what's they're more tipped in favor of that. And, Gemini energy is also represented by the Lover's card. To choose love is a free will choice. And some people don't want to do love. They get hurt doing love. I would rather be in a relationship operating more from my more defensive, egoic nature, present myself as loving, whether I'm male or female, keep staying in denial that I have a problem maybe with love. I also might be kind of more worldly focused, ego focused, self-focused. I might be kind of manipulative in a relationship to try to get people to do what I want. I might like the scales kind of tipped in my favor in a relationship. Maybe I'm bossy. Maybe I'm controlling. Maybe I don't want to tell the truth. Libra, the King of Swords is Libra energy, represented by the scales of justice. Some people they have their own idea of what's just and fair. Maybe they really don't want to do a higher level of what's just and fair, adhering to a higher truth and justice. Where it's like, no, I kind of reject that. I kind of think if I say something's just and fair, it's just and fair. And some people don't believe there is any higher truth or justice to aspire to. Some of these people that you could know could be very egotistical and full of themselves. And if they think something's just and fair, then they think everybody else should think it's just and fair. For some people, everybody has the free will choice to move forward in high vibe energy. And some people reject that. That's not my truth. In the appreciation card is like the Nine of Pentacles, which is Virgo energy. And Virgo energy within all of us kind of has to do with what is our long-term goal. Is it to become a King of Pentacles where it's more about us and ego and image and indulgence? Or is it High Vibe King of Pentacles, about learning lessons and growing and maturing myself? And for some people, it's not option B. It's more about, it's me and I operate from my ego. That, I guess we could kind of look at the yin and yang aspect as being what they align with within themselves. And we all do what makes us maybe feel safe and secure and balanced within ourselves. And that's where some people are at. and they're kind of attached to living life more, letting kind of their worldly egoic nature, which can be their fearful nature, their defensive nature, their immature nature. Maybe I don't want to make a choice is what the Two of Swords can be. I don't want to pick a path. I want to juggle. I want to present myself as loving in the world, like a loving family person, so people will get in relationship with me. But really, I'm kind of more about myself and my ego. And I like to indulge in relationships. And I don't want to have to pick a path. I want to keep juggling. I might not want... And then those people could end up having a hard time getting people to want to stay in a relationship with them because they're unwilling to pick a path. We have free will to pick this or pick that. And some people are like, I don't want to pick. I want to get in relationships. I want people to view me as these loving, nurturing, supportive, stable, grounded people. And I want them to stay in a relationship with me. But I still don't want to deal with the truth. I want to keep kind of going back and forth. So they kind of, present themselves as high vibe, but then they could do things in a relationship that aren't very just and fair. But they might like to present themselves as being very just and fair. Or that they're the stable, grounded, loving, warm person, but then they operate from defensiveness. It's like all this, what do they call that? Like cognitive dissonance, and it keeps them stuck. And when other people get in a relationship with them, it kind of keeps them stuck because the other people might want to bring a dream into reality with truth. What path? They get in relationships with loving people, authentic people that want them to remove the false mask and be more loving and balanced and warm and loving. And they're like, I don't know. Maybe I want to make my life more about me or more about defensiveness or more about money. And then they could go get in a relationship with someone who's kind of more on that page. But then that person's like, let's move forward and bring a dream into reality, making our life about that. And then they're like, I don't know. Is this really what I want? And they can't make a decision. People who harness a shadowy Libra energy, both the Two of Swords and the King of Swords is Libra energy. Some of you could have been dealing with a Libra, but we all tap into Libra energy. And some people just can't pick a path. And other people have. And for some of those people, other people, the Six of Wands can be people moving away from them. They keep staying single, maybe, and they can't decide who they want, what kind of relationship they want to be in. And other people have picked their path. This is how I live my life. Are you coming with or not? And eventually, they could kind of feel shadowy Leo energy, fire energy. They could feel like someone's just kind of indulging themselves in the relationship. Like, I create the illusion I'm willing to move forward with you in a more committed relationship, but I'm really just kind of indulging my worldly nature in a relationship. And I don't want to have to pick a path. I just want maybe to keep my options open. And some people, don't want to be in a relationship with someone who wants to keep their options open. I'm going to go find someone who's on the same page as me. High vibe or low vibe, So let's go look at the top row. But there could be a part of us that has a hard time moving on. There's a part of us that would like to... We might have already dealt with some people. We already kind of know the truth about them, something about them. Maybe they don't like to pick a path. Maybe they have some of these shadowy traits, or just kind of manipulative, kind of full of themselves in a way, like it's always kind of a little bit more about them kind of being indulged. You kind of do, we hang out when you want to hang out. We talk on the phone when you want to talk on the phone, just kind of like that. And, there's a part of us that would kind of like to just ignore the truth. Because if we ignore the truth, we don't have to go, when you go move forward in life differently, you could have to go through a period of feeling left out in the cold because you're not going to keep investing your time, energy, and effort into things and people that you feel like are no longer aligned with your truth. And the first card in the top row is the throat chakra. The card for the first bottom row is not speaking your truth. This is speaking your truth. And for the people that are in the midst of it right now, we can have a lot of fear of speaking our truth. Even, if it's a job, telling a boss, I'm really not happy with the way things are here. And I'm kind of thinking I might, because the Queen of Pentacles can represent jobs and all those things too. Do we keep putting in work and effort hoping it'll be okay? Do we want to keep staying in relationships with other people who we might know we would like them to stand up for themselves and speak their truth, get more balance within themselves, but they keep not doing it? But for the people that are in the midst of it right now, they might not be speaking their truth. Because by worldly standards, whatever way they're living their life and whoever they're in relationships with, by worldly standards, it does look victorious and successful. And in a lot of ways, people can get along. Some people are in the attachment card, maybe in a little bit more codependent energy. They could just feel that maybe the people they're in a relationship with are kind of wearing a false mask. That maybe the reason those people want to keep moving forward with them in a relationship is more for the status and the ego and the image. It really isn't love. But we don't want to get out of it because then, we have to be bold and brave and confident to maintain balance within ourselves, to love and believe in ourselves without, being in a relationship. And that can be scary. So there could be some people staying in those types of relationships because they don't want to speak the truth. There could be people who would like to be in a relationship with some high vibe people in their life. But they know in order to be in that relationship, they would have to speak their truth. And that can be enough to keep people, who knows what that truth could be. Maybe before I did want to be single. Maybe I did kind of want to go indulge in these things of life. I wasn't ready to close out a cycle of my life. And for some people, they might not want to tell somebody that. Maybe I did some things that really caused some disruption in a workplace, in a relationship, with a loving, nurturing person in my life. Maybe if I'm in more codependent energy, maybe they have someone in their life, even if that person is a sibling or a friend who they're kind of codependent on, and they'd have to become more independent, and they're not ready to do that yet because they're kind of tipped out of balance in codependent energy, kind of attached to some people to make them feel more emotionally stable and grounded within themselves, and kind of having taken over that job of doing that work within themselves emotionally. And so they keep staying in that codependent energy with that friend or friend group or friends or family members or a romantic relationship that they're in. Maybe this one with the Queen of Pentacles can also represent people who have money, and people are trying, what do I, something has to give. High vibe energy is about balance. I do want these things of the world. I mean, we all like to be in relationships with people who are stable and grounded and putting in work and effort to maintain stability in their life, because we'd all like that, so we have to be balanced in our life. We also would like people in our life who are loving and nurturing and supportive of us. But are we willing to be a loving, supportive person? Or are we someone who thinks maybe because I have these certain traits or characteristics or attributes or assets that people should want to be in a relationship with me and they should be loving to me and I don't really have to align with that energy. There's people who view life like that. And then there's other people who it's like, well, I value these things of the world more, status, image, money, or being indulged more, and I'm willing to sacrifice some of the love and nurturing and warmth to maybe settle for being in a relationship with someone who's maybe not that way. But oops, if what's more important to me, oh, we almost had a tower. What's more important to me is more the money or the status or the image or the power or the influence or the social clout. I got to pick up a card here. The tower, storm warning, fell on the floor. You know, and some people right now don't see the truth. We've all been there. We've all lived our life being immature and impulsive, looking to things outside of ourselves to be the answer, to making us feel better, that we don't have to heal, we don't have to grow, we don't have to mature, we don't have to learn to love ourselves. And some of these people just haven't learned some lessons in life that you've learned. And, you know, odds are, if they're in a mismatched relationship, eventually they will be shown the truth. And then at that point in time, they will have the choice to decide, am I going to do this work to love and believe in myself and quit repeating a certain pattern of life and speak my truth and do this work to get more balance? Maybe up here we have the speaking your truth in the anxiety card and the King of Cups and cornucopia. You know, when are we going to deal with our fears and insecurities that are stopping us from loving ourselves and believing in ourselves and truly kind of knowing our worth and value and believing that if we're treating people with love and respect and in a just and fair way, that we deserve to be in relationships with people who are like that too. And, you know, we kind of sometimes have to go through some unpleasant life experiences to get us just to get out of our more codependent nature or wake us up from the illusion if we're in shadowy energy and we're making decisions more out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego, immaturity, whatever, we're going to get in relationships with people who probably aren't on the same page as us, and they're happy we live our life that way because that's how they live their life. And some of those people aren't ever going to change. And there's people in the world that are motivated to grow and mature themselves to their full potential, like the cornucopia card. I might have status and image, I might be attractive, I might be charming, I might have power or influence, but am I really from love being my authentic self in the world? Am I in mutually loving, nurturing relationships? Am I indulging others for these things of the world? Are other people indulging me because I have some of these things of the world that they want? High vibe energy is about being independent from your more worldly, egoic nature to be free to live your authentic life, and that would be cornucopia, where I'm not making decisions more out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego, but from love. And I think that's why we came here with this dualistic nature. Kind of like, did you want to go enter the game of life? It'll be challenging. You're going to have your worldly nature. There's going to be a whole bunch of people in the world, probably 50% of them at any given time, that are going to try to make you settle for the illusion, settle for the status quo. Will you conform to the world, or will you transform yourself, grow to your full potential by the renewing of your mind and seeing life from a higher perspective? Will you grow and mature yourself? You know, it's kind of like we're little children perpetually learning to walk. And Some people, they learn some of the basic skills in life and they're good. And other people are like, I might have unique talent, skills, and interests. I think there's a higher purpose to being here. I think I don't want to quit growing and healing and maturing myself. And then when we get in relationships with people who aren't growing and healing, maturing themselves, don't want to step out of their comfort zone, it can start to feel oppressive and confining and restricting and limiting. And we can start to feel that the people that we're in relationship with, kind of subtly or not so subtly, trying to tear us down to stop us from like healing and loving and believing in ourselves, because that's not how they want to live their life, and they want us to stay in relationship with us, maybe, but they want us to stop doing that, because if we keep doing that, we're going to kind of be a different person than we were before. And then we're going to be different. And when one person becomes different, heals, grows, matures or some way, views life differently, they are different. It's like they've given a birth to a new them. And, just like a 15-year-old versus a 21-year-old. And if the other people don't plan to deal with being more authentically themselves, working through whatever fears or insecurities they have to go to the next stage of life, they don't want you to either. And that's when we can kind of realize that sometimes people can love us, but they don't really want us to grow to our full potential or shine our authentic light in the world. No, conform to the world like I do. You should do this. You should wear that. You should act like this. You should hang out with these people or something. It's like, I'm my own individual. I'm not interested in conforming to the world. I want to talk to who I want to talk to. I want to hang out with people who motivate and inspire me, who are loving and nurturing and supportive, and I don't really care about the ego and the image of it. It's like, oh my gosh, you are like a rebel. Okay. So, some high vibe people already did speak their truth. Some people are speaking their truth. I'm concerned if my dream is going to come into reality here. Because I thought we were going to move forward letting love and intuition guide us. I didn't realize that you had fear of stepping outside your comfort zone to be maybe more loving, to get out of your head and fears about love. And I want to be in a relationship with people who I think are open to giving and receiving love, where we kind of give birth to something new. We go into unknown territory instead of repeating an old pattern. How about we let love and intuition guide us? How about we don't make our life so much about the world and past patterns, and we give birth to our own unique relationship? We're not going to do things like you have done things in your past relationships, or like your mom and dad did it. We're not going to do things like I maybe did it in the past. It's about taking the good things that we've learned from life, just like we did age 15 to age 18. I'm going to take the good things I've learned that I think are beneficial to going to the next phase of life. And then I'm going to put my own unique thing and listen to my intuition of how to build on it. And I've seen what things need to go to the wayside. That were kind of immature, that were kind of selfish, were kind of, whatever, immature. But that's why some people don't want to move forward in that way. Because some of these ways of being are either things they still love, or it makes them feel safe, or they're codependent on. And it could just be the world. It's really important to some people how they think other people view them, and part of it is just illusion. People could be doing this thinking, oh, I'm not going to take action in truth and love because, that would mean maybe I'd have to admit that I made mistakes and I had lessons to learn. I need to act in my pride and ego. I shouldn't admit, male or female, even though I'm kind of doing a deeper voice there. and they think people view them the certain way because that's how they view the world. People could think they're a complete idiot. But our life is just so much based on what we think. Air sign energy, Libra and Gemini, what we think other people, how we think other people view us, being in our ego. It's like, I think people applaud people who admit, I had lessons learned, I made mistakes, I had growing and maturing to do. I could have done some hurtful, unkind, immature things in my life. I could have rejected and pushed away loving people. I had some fears and insecurities or anxieties I needed to work through. I had some growing up to do. I had to learn to love and believe in myself. And I went and learned these lessons, and now I've learned that love is what makes it all worthwhile. And I could have gotten caught up in these other things in the world that I thought for sure would make me happy, that I didn't have to do love because I'd get hurt doing love. Or I've been hurt before, so I rejected love. I wasn't going to do love anymore. I was going to align with my worldly egoic nature. It was going to be more about me just indulging myself in relationships with people, not letting my more authentic nature, loving nature out to play in the world. And because of that, they can have people who don't want to stay in a relationship with them. And some of the people that are currently in relationships with people like that, at some future point in time, some of those people are going to quit being in friendships or relationships with them. And of course, some people will stay because some of those people like being in relationships with people like that, so long as it benefits them, maybe. Or they sacrifice their own dreams to feel like they're this loving caretaker in somebody's life. But their own dreams maybe won't come into reality unless their dream is just to be in a relationship, just to be in something that looks victorious, just for the money or the status or the image, or just so they don't have to go be bold and brave and confident on their own. But some people weren't willing to stay in it. And as some people did get out of it, those people spoke their truth to other people in their life. I did learn these lessons. We can stay down here in shadowy Gemini, Libra, Virgo, Leo, Taurus, or we can harness high vibe Gemini, Libra, Taurus, Virgo, and we can learn lessons in life. Get out of our ego, incorporate the lesson we learned into our life, into our world, work through our fears and insecurities, stay focused on truth and love to guide the decisions we make going forward, and communicate our truth to people in the world who we think are on the same page as us to move forward with us in that way. Some of the people will move forward with us in that way, some of the people won't. Some of the people right now are just thinking about it, working through their own fears of, do I really dare go live my life like that? Where it isn't, where I've really got to be authentically myself. What's coming up for the high vibe people, harnessing high vibe Gemini that they might not see coming up? We have the 10 of Cups, the 6 of Swords, the 4 of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and the reason is because of the Chariot. It's a process for people who did leave something to go pursue what was more in alignment with them. As we keep doing that and moving forward, the Chariot is Cancer energy. From love, because love is the answer, we get ourselves in the driver's seat of our life, take the reins of our own dualistic nature. I'm not going to indulge poor behavior in myself or others. I want an emotionally balanced, loving relationship with people who have hope and faith and belief in their dreams. And that's what I'm aligning with. That is my truth. The 6 of Swords moves away from the 5 of Swords. They're both Aquarius energy about having a dream, but as we keep growing and maturing ourselves, how we viewed the dream life changes, and the way we had been living our life was causing us mental conflict, and we saw the truth of it. And I'm going to listen to my intuition. And I'm going to take that cup of love to stand up and fight for the things I believe in. I'm not going to keep living life a certain way when I feel stuck, because it's just become stagnant. Or maybe I feel like I've seen the truth of some of the people I was dealing with, or I was operating more from pride or ego or fear or indulgence, and I don't want to live my life that way, Whatever the case, they saw the truth. They're willing to take action on truth. In between there, again, they offered them to take that higher cup. Life isn't just about indulging myself. Life isn't about other people indulging me or me indulging other people. I have to learn to love myself, to get balance within myself. It starts within me. If I want emotionally balanced, loving relationships, I have to learn how to love my own worldly nature and stand up and defend my own loving nature. And if I feel like I have people in my life who are trying to manipulate my loving nature, I need to stand up for my loving nature. That if people aren't going to treat me in a just and fair and loving manner, then I'm going to defend myself against those people. They might still want to move forward with me, but they either want to ignore my love, manipulate me, use their emotions manipulatively, be defensive to me, more about ego and image and harnessing this energy in a shadowy way. And no, everybody has to get the driver's seat of their life. Everybody has to take responsibility for, because again, if I didn't mention it, some people, the way they view relationships, can't I just present myself as loving? And then I operate from this unstable foundation and you're supposed to love me. That's like your job. That's not my job. That's not how I view life. I have these things of the world. People are supposed to want to be in a relationship with me and be nurturing and loving to me. It was like, well, what about you being nurturing and loving to the people you get in a relationship with? It's like, I act loving. Well, it's much different to act loving than to authentically be loving. People who are loving have worked through their issues to freely giving of themselves. Loving people, their cup of love overflows. They freely give to other people. Shadowy energy can be kind of selfish and stingy. Well, I haven't really learned how to fill up my own cups of love, much less to give what I can give you one. The other three I hold on to for myself. It's like, how about you learn to replenish your own and quit having like a lack mentality and a fear mentality? But some people are so afraid of giving to people. I don't know, like what? If it doesn't work out, then I'll be in my ego that I was authentic and loving with that person. It's such a screwy way, I think, to look at it. Why not be authentic and loving and warm? And if it doesn't work out, you can be proud of yourself that you know you are loving. You gave it all you could. You can be proud of yourself. I know I'm a loving, nurturing, stable, balanced person. I can go out in the world, and I'm sure there will be other people who appreciate that about me. And other people is just like this ego thing. Well, no, what if I were to give to you and then it didn't work out for some reason? Like then they'd be in their ego about the fact that they were authentic and loving. It's like, well, how's that working out for you? I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't get it. Anyway, let's go on. So I think as you move forward, what you don't see coming, there's going to be, as you're moving forward, there's going to be other people that want to move forward with you. There's probably currently people in your life, friends, family, siblings, adult children, co-workers that are going to work together with you in a just and fair and loving way, because that's what they're motivated and inspired by and the type of people they are. There's also going to be people as you move forward that could feel like they missed an opportunity with you, don't like the fact that you could be moving forward in your life, and they could want to stop you. Maybe again, it could be former people from your life or new people you meet, wanting to be the next person to move forward with you or get back in a relationship with you and move forward because you are a very loving, nurturing person. Maybe the people they went to go get in relationship with or have been in relationship aren't that loving and nurturing. You look victorious and successful. So now you could look more victorious and successful than some of the people they went to go get in relationship with or were in relationship with, whether you know them or not. And you just look like the next best thing to get in a relationship with. And I think you're going to listen to your intuition and offer people the truth and love. This is how I'm moving forward. This is my dream. This is how the type of people I want to hang out with. What kind of person are you? And get to know them to find out what their truth is. And the people that you can tell are operating more from their ego and image, and it's more about victory or success, or because they're mad at someone else in their past. Look at me, look at me, look, I got in a different relationship. It's like, yeah, I'm not a pawn in your game of competing with people in your ego. I want people who aren't operating from their ego, people who are speaking the truth, people who are loving and emotionally balanced. And I think you'll listen to your intuition about who's who, and the people who you don't think are telling the truth aren't the people you'll move forward with. You could feel like they're more trying to tempt you in your worldly nature or your loving nature. Or you just want to be in a relationship or blah, blah, blah. And who are the people that aren't trying to manipulate you, who are being truthful and authentic? And those are the people that will move forward with you, that you'll move forward with, and you'll both defend each other. Because you're both operating from love and view this relationship as an emotionally balanced, abundant, loving, victorious relationship. And other people in your life weren't willing to get in the driver's seat of their own life, didn't want to speak the truth, weren't willing to stand up and defend you against their own fearful, defensive, egotistical, shadowy nature to temper their ego, or other people in their life that try to manipulate and control them. So it's like, apparently, I can only move forward with the people who are willing to work with me in truth and love. And the people who aren't and are still manipulated by other things or other people, okay, and just like you're moving forward this way in your life, there's other people in the world that are moving forward with you, or in the world, that as you keep moving forward with, you will meet other people who are on the same page as you that also got out of relationships and workplaces with people who acted like this. What's coming up for the more shadowy people? We have the Knight of Cups because of the Empress card. Well, some people who were maybe trying to control people or manipulate people, instead of being truthful and honest and just and fair, acting with love, what some of those people didn't see coming and don't see coming is that some people in their Knight of Cups energy would love and believe in themselves to give birth to something new. The Empress energy is about emotionally putting work and effort in Libra and Taurus energy to get balance within yourself. We can be in relationships with people, and it can be an equally out of balance relationship where someone is indulging someone in poor behavior, someone's not loving and nurturing, and the other person is soaking it up, but that it's never more of a just and fair relationship. And that the other people would choose to love themselves and give birth to something new, to get the justice they deserve. And they did not see that coming. Because sometimes when we're in more codependent energy, we can be looking to other people to be like a parent figure to us too, because we're repeating a pattern. I was a child once. I looked to other people to love me, to provide stability and security for me. And I'm looking for someone to play that role in my life. And when we learn to love ourselves, then we can kind of get out of that more codependent energy. And the whole reason we could have been attracted to some people is they could have reminded us of people in our life who we had viewed that way, or we had some issues we needed to deal with on a subconscious level about some of those former people in our life. Or it was just to make us see the truth. Is this really how you want to keep living your life? Or do you want to be in more of a parent-child relationship, teacher-student relationship, or indulging someone in immature behavior? Or do you want to love yourself and set yourself free? And some people did, and some people are getting out of that more codependent energy to be their own best mother, father, coach voice in their head. And some of the people in their life did not see that coming. I cannot believe you are willing to close out being in a relationship with me and living life this way with me. Partly because they could have known you loved them. And they were hoping because you love them, and also the look victorious, stability, security, they thought for sure in your ego you wouldn't be willing to give that up and you do the relationship their way. And you're like, but this isn't love. You're not acting in an emotionally mature, just and fair and loving way, and I've seen the truth of it. And I spoke my truth. I offered you love to move forward with me in this energy, and you were defensive to it. So apparently we're not on the same page, and I'm going to go give birth to something new. Another thing they might not see coming is someone else is willing to get in a relationship with them. If it's another loving person, this whole scenario is going to play out again. And for some of those people got in new relationships. And if they're in a relationship with another loving person who wants a dream to come into reality, and some of these people can't make up their mind, that person's going to see the truth of it, and they're going to move on. They could get in a relationship with someone who's more like themselves, offering them to invest in them emotionally, but the reason could be shadowy Libra Taurus energy. I emotionally invest in people because you look victorious and successful in the world. I like to be indulged in the world. Or I like to play a mother figure in people's lives. You seem to have fears and insecurities about living life differently. Perfect. I like to be in a relationship with people like you. Let me be like your mother. And then it's trying to get them to see the truth that, oh my gosh, because they could get in a relationship with someone who does remind them of some people in their life that they haven't, they'll see it like, oh my God, this, that I'm going to keep repeating this pattern of having people who try to parent me or remind me of some bad traits and characteristics and people in my life that could have made me give up on loving and believing in myself. And now I'm back in a relationship with someone like that. Oh my gosh, look what I manifested. And it's trying to get them to deal with some truth in their foundation that they haven't wanted to deal with. For some of them, they really want to be in a relationship with someone who reminds them of someone that they loved. But, especially if it's someone who's not in their life anymore because they miss that person in a way, it's kind of like they want to be in a relationship with someone like that. For other people, they could just think, oh, I can go find another loving person, like someone else that things didn't work out with. They could find out, it's hard to find someone who's really on the same page as you, and to expect someone to be like someone else can be very hard, And if that person is alive in the world, they should speak their truth and go find the person in their world who really is the person that they view as a loving, nurturing person. But they don't want to speak their truth, so they could just be trying to find someone who can take the place of someone else that had been in their life. But who wants to be that person in their life? I want you to love and appreciate me for me, not just to find someone to replace the person that you lost, So there you go, Gemini energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.